Hi everybody, this is Kevin, and welcome back to another manga review. And once again, we're going to be taking a look at Fairy Tail with Volume 9 from Hiro Mashima, which sees the conclusion of the Phantom Lord arc and the start and conclusion of a little mini arc focusing on the character Loki. So I like how the early arcs here have all revolved around certain characters. You had the first few, which is essentially just getting the whole team together, Natsu, Lucy, Happy, Gray, and Urza. Then the Galuna Island arc followed Gray's backstory, and most recently here with the Phantom Lord arc, it's followed Lucy's backstory and also touched a little bit on Elfman and his sister's backstory. And once again, this one has Lucy taking center stage. I love the cover here with Lucy and all her celestial spirits. Let's see, we got Sagittarius, Aquarius, look at Taurus with the hearts in his eyes, Horologium, Cancer, Virgo, of course, Plo. And I'm not sure who that one is. Maybe that's one we'll see in this particular... Oh, that's the harp. She what was her name? Lyra, I think. She appeared in the Galuna Island arc to sing a little song. So let's jump right into this. On the last volume, we concluded with Makarov invoking fairy law on Jose of Phantom Lord, ready to KO him. And of course, Natsu had this epic battle against Gagio where Natsu eventually won. So let's jump right into this. So Makarov, like I said, was using the power of fairy law to defeat Jose, and you just see like this giant explosion and everyone looking on, all the members of Fairy Tail. You got Lucy and Happy flying away, Urza, Mira Jane, Elfman, and Gray looking on, and then everyone else who was battling, like, what's going on? All the shades are vanishing. So if you remember, Jose sent all these, phantoms to attack the Fairy Tail members, and Urza mentioned it's the special move Fairy Law. And you just look at Jose here. He's like just look at his mouth wide open, like turning to dust there. And Makarov says, "You'll never come near Fairy Tail again." Look at this dude. Now that you're a bungler of such epic proportions, the council can't overlook your actions anymore. From now on, you'll have to worry about the safety constantly. Both of us will. Oh wow, is this? That guy Arya's coming in again. He's the one who sapped Makarov of all his power. And he's trying to get Makarov from behind, and he just slaps him. And that's it. The battle is over. We won! Yay! Look at everyone celebrating. I love it. We beat the Phantom! So, and even Natsu's talking to Gagio. Gagio, can you hear me? Yeah, whatever. It's a pain for me to even talk, so I'll keep this short. Your dragon slaying magic, where did you learn it? So yeah, if you remember, of course, Natsu is the dragon slayer who uses fire magic that he learned from Igniel. And Gagio is also a dragon slayer who uses iron magic. And he mentions the fact that he learned his magical abilities from the steel dragon Metallicana. So, there's a dragon in Gagio's past as well. So they're sort of connected. And Natsu asks, what happened to your dragon? And, Gagio says it just disappeared one day, 7 years ago. And they start talking about it. And there's like this weird coincidence where they left on July 7th, 7 years ago, also in the year 777. So what the hell is going on with all the sevens? And they sort of have a mutual truce here where, they're going to be friendly rivals from here on out, it seems. So the guild makes their way back to the, the wreckage of Fairy Tail. And they're just looking on like, oh shit, what do we do here? I love that shot of all the members just looking on. And you can just make out all the important ones right in the front there. Very nice attention to detail. And Makarov says, well, this time, we sure made a mess. And Lucy's looking all upset, thinking it's her fault. But then she sees her friend Levi, and if you remember from the very start, it was Levi, Jet, and Droy who were attacked by Gagio, given the Phantom Lord insignia on their bodies. And that was the act of war that convinced Makarov to join the battle. And they say, it's not your fault, In the end, you saved us, so... Lucy starts to cry, and they're like, oh, we love you, Lucy. You're a member of Fairy Tail after all. And, just a nice heartfelt scene here where she's crying, and then everyone starts laughing. You got Natsu laughing, Levi's trying to pick her up. And then, in the midst of this emotional scene, Makarov's like, oh, we really made a mess this time. The council's going to come after me. And he starts crying, and look at Urza's face. Master, what are you crying for? What's going on? So, of course, the council makes their way to Fairy Tail as they're rebuilding, and Natsu's like, we gotta run! And again, the master's crying, Master, pull yourself together. So the council has to inquire as to what the hell happened here, because they have these laws where legal guilds, I mean, it's one thing if a dark guild gets involved because they're bad guys anyway, but legal guilds cannot get involved and start battling each other like this. So they're looking for answers, and then you got Lucy writing in her book and looking over her bruises and everything. And if you remember, the whole reason why Phantom Lord attacked was because they were paid by Lucy's father, Jude Heartfilia, to basically round her up. And we have this flashback, again, focusing on Lucy's past here. Look how cute Lucy is as a little girl. Hey, Papa, I made you a rice bowl. I'm working, leave me be. So, of course, he's an asshole. He doesn't care for his daughter at all. And just trying to, give something to her father that she made. Can't you understand when I tell you you're in the way, Lucy? Cooking is the exclusive domain of the chef. If you have so much free time, then use it to study politics. And she starts crying after she leaves, and she says, I just wanted to say that today was my birthday. Just trying to... How can her own father not know his daughter's birthday? What a sad sack. So she's writing in her journal here, basically saying that, she's caused a lot of problems for Fairy Tail just because of her father-daughter drama. So she's going to go pay him a visit at some point. And you got everyone working real hard to fix the guild. Look at Natsu. This is heavy. Wow, look how many planks he's carrying. He's got like 20 of them there. You're carrying too many, you idiot. What are you doing? And Gray's only carrying one. And Natsu's like, you weakling. So look at Gray trying to one-up him. And you got Juvia in the background. She's making sporadic appearances now because if you remember from the fight with the Element 4, Gray had fought Juvia. And it was the perfect matchup between water and ice. And, Juvia has a crush on Gray, so I guess she's, stalking him now. And now you got the foreman, Urza, who's re-equipped into work clothes, and she's like, no lollygagging around. We're going to build this to the best of our abilities. So she's taking control here, and, again, like I said, Juvia is just, lurking in the background. And, Gray turns his back, and Juvia gives him this little box of goodies and stuff with a heart on it. Oh, go right ahead, Kray-sama. Hilarious. And then Loki shows up. And they're like, what's going on with you? You don't look so well. What's going on? And Loki's like, oh, I can't really say. Something's going on. Something's up with me. So he has a mysterious past. Like I said, this is going to delve into Loki's past here. And Natsu and Gray are wondering where Lucy is because, she's not helping rebuild Fairy Tail, even if she's just an overseer watching all the boys do all the work. So they make their way to her house, and, well, she's not there. So they're snooping around. This is great. They're looking in the bathroom like, oh, someone has to do it. Natsu's in the bathtub, And Happy opens the drawer and finds all these letters. And the letters are all addressed to Mama. So, and they're all sealed and ready to be mailed out, but they haven't been mailed out for whatever reason. And then Urza finds a note on the table that says, I'm going home. What? What do you mean she's going home? So here's Lucy on the train all by herself, going to pay her father a visit. And she makes her way to the Heartfilia estate. And all the, servants and maids and housekeepers are so happy to see her, of course, because, Lucy's father's a real jerk. He doesn't pay anyone any business but himself. And obviously Lucy's very caring, so they start getting her all ready. You have to get dressed to see the master. And then she makes her way. She gets all dolled up, and this is how he greets her. It's about time you were back, Lucy. And she's apologizing, ready to speak to him, to say her piece. And, all he cares about is money and politics. And he starts mentioning that he's going to have an arranged wedding for her so that she can marry a dude to have a stock in the rail system. And Lucy's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I haven't seen him in a year. And he's trying to get me to an arranged marriage. Is that what it's all about? And then she speaks from her heart. She says, you'll never lay a finger on Fairy Tail ever again. That's my real family now. Because the next time you threaten Fairy Tail, you make an enemy of me and the entire guild. And then she rips off her gaudy outfit here as a way to sort of say, I'm done, playing this game. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. I don't need money or fancy clothing. What I need is a place where people accept me as who I am. And look at all the maids and all that just watching. Oh, she's so brave. And then we get this little tidbit here where, Lucy's mother actually passed away. So that could be the cause of all the strife here, where the father didn't talk to Lucy or whatever after the mother died. And another interesting tidbit, so if we go back to where Gagio was talking about Metallicana and also of Natsu and Igneo. They had mentioned that they were abandoned by the dragons on the year 777, right? And you see with Layla Heartfilia, that's Lucy's mother, she had passed away in the year 777. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to make note of. And as Lucy's getting ready to leave the estate, her friends come running in and ready to go. Look at her face. Oh, and look at Happy just crying. Oh no, Lucy, don't go. And they're so happy to see her. And, I love this picture right here of Lucy. So cute. And, Jude Heartfilia, the father, is just looking out there like, maybe she really does have a nice group of friends now. Let her do her thing. So as they're leaving, they all joke, oh, this is a nice town you live in. She's like, this isn't the town, this is the estate. And they're just perplexed, like, you own all this property? What's going on? So again, here's more of the bios here. You got Loxus. So then they make their way back, and we cut over here now to the Magic Council, where Makarov is being questioned by everyone. You have Seagrain, you have Org, and I think his name is Mikolo. You have Yajima, and he's falling asleep. And of course, how can we forget Ultir, right? The one who was on Galuna Island, shape-shifting using the time magic. So this guy is Yajima. He's on the 6th seat of the council, and him and Makarov go way back, and he sort of put in a good word for him. And these are more higher-ranking members, Org and Mikolo, the 2nd and 3rd seat, and they're just like squirting at him like, how can we let Fairy Tail do this? So everyone's all happy to see Lucy again, and they're all ready to go back to work. And as they're doing this, Loxus makes his way here, and he just starts talking about, oh, you guys are a bunch of weaklings. I would have never let this happen. We got the whole guild destroyed by Phantom Lord. What a bunch of weaklings. But if you remember, Mirror Jane was trying to call Loxus to enter the battlefield because they were getting their asses kicked early on when Makarov was down for the count. And he's like, no, it's none of my business. I'm not helping. So, call them all weaklings. But if you were there, you could have helped out, dude. So what's your problem? Even Mistigan, he helped out. He destroyed the other guilds, the other smaller guilds affiliated with Phantom Lord, sort of off screen, but he did do it. And he's basically calling out Levy, Jet, and Droy, saying they're the weakest of the bunch, and they don't deserve to be a part of the guild anymore, and he's just being an asshole. And everyone's like, knock it off, Loxus, what's your problem? And then Natsu comes in, Loxus, you creep, and tries to attack him. And he's like, oh, you're a weakling too, Natsu, I'll defeat you, all of you are weaklings, I'm the best. And then at this point, Lucy's like, what the hell is this guy's problem? Like, why is he even a part of our guild if he's such an asshole? And I think they had mentioned this before, but this is probably like the more definitive panel here where they mention Loxus is the master's grandson. So obviously that's why he's a part of the guild. Interesting that Makarov doesn't use lightning magic though, but Loxus does. He uses like the giant magic. But you can see the similarities, right? And Natsu's all pissed off and he wants to have his rematch. So as the guild's getting rebuilt, Team Natsu here, Urza, Gray, Lucy, Happy, and Natsu say, all right, we're going to go on a little quest. Let's just go and get it over with. And they take care of this quest off screen. And as this is going on, we have Makarov contemplating retirement. And he's thinking of the strongest members in the guild. Of course, Loxus, the grandson, who would be the most likely heir apparent. But, he's an asshole. You have Gildarts, who they've just mentioned his name. We haven't even really seen him. And there's like his shadowy figure. And then Mistigan, who, another one we really haven't seen, but it obviously is very powerful. And then Mirror Jane shows up and says, your favorite guys just went on another quest, and they destroyed half the town. No, I can't do this anymore. Look at his face. I love it, man. So, they're back. This is great, man. They're playing pool, and they don't know how to play pool, especially Natsu. I think Gray is obviously more intelligent than Natsu. Natsu's a complete goof. But their idea of playing pool isn't to get the balls in the hole, but to hit it as hard as they can and to break all the balls. And Lucy's like, that's not how the game is played. Can't tell that to Natsu. So as all this is going on, they decide to go on another little retreat, take on a quest that doesn't really revolve around destroying anything. And they're going to this theater here to fulfill the job because this guy, he owns the theater. What's his name? He is Ravion, the director. And all his actors quit, so we'll get Fairy Tale to sign up. And Urza's like, oh, I can't wait. And, they start interacting in this play. And Urza, being as confident as she is in battle, has stage fright. You see her start stuttering, I've come to rescue the princess, and she can't do it. And, Natsu is the fire-breathing dragon. This is just hilarious, man. I like how they sort of take in between arcs, they have these nice little relieving mini arcs, and, Urza has stage fright, and Natsu's just destroying everything again, one being the dragon. You get the fan service scenes, he burns Lucy's clothes off. Hilarious, man, I love it. But after the play, the crowd cheered him on, they all loved it, and they're like, oh, you're going to perform more plays for us, right? No, come on, you got to pay us. And then Urza's traded her voice. Hilarious, dude. Absolutely hilarious. So again, they're doing more odd jobs, and at this point, they see Loki running around, and they're like, what the hell is this guy's problem? Because he's been really kind of weird. We saw him early on, and he was sort of portrayed as a womanizer, but then he said he was afraid of celestial spirits, and then they had mentioned that he doesn't look well, and he's running around again. And like I said, they're taking a little retreat here in the hot springs, and Lucy's wondering, what's Loki doing here? So to relieve their stress, Natsu and Happy, just making everything the competition that they do, decide to have a pillow fight. So Urza says that she's like the queen of the pillow fights, and she wins every time, and they just start beating the ever-living hell out of each other with the pillows, destroying the room that they're in. Like, look at throwing that one at Lucy, just knocking her down. Oh my god. So Lucy's like, I gotta get the hell out of here. These guys are too weird. So she takes Plo out there for a walk, and then these creeps show up and are like, hey, pretty girl, we're gonna take you back to our place. When Loki shows up to protect her. So now that they've met Loki, I got her confused, Loki, they go to have a drink, and Loki's so far apart from her, and she's like, dude, what is your problem? And he goes on about the celestial spirits, and mentions the fact that he doesn't have long to live. And Lucy's like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? And questioning that, he just laughs it off, whereas Lucy's like, no, this is more serious than that. You don't have long to live. What are you doing, man? And, he mentions that he has feelings for Lucy now, and sort of runs off. And then they're talking about their pillow fight battle again. You see Juvia looking on like, oh, is Gray all right? And Lucy's, stop your racket, would you? We got to find out what's going on with Loki. So they call upon this celestial spirit here, Crux of the Southern Constellation, to find out what the deal is. And they mention the fact that Karen Lilica was actually a famous celestial wizard who passed away many years ago. And it was at the hands of Loki, believe it or not, who is now revealed to be a celestial spirit himself. So, and he's known as Leo of the Lion Palace. So what had happened was he was under the care of Karen Lilica many, many years ago. She was a member of the Blue Pegasus Guild, and she was not a very nice celestial spirit. That's why Loki is sort of weird around Lucy. He doesn't want to come to attach to her because he had a big problem with her in the past. And we go into his backstory here and there's Master Bob. Remember we saw him a while back? But she has two celestial spirits. She has Ares, this, girl here, the ram, and Leo, Loki. And she's very abusive to Ares. She always summons her, and she's really not the most powerful of the spirits, so she always gets beat up. And Leo wasn't having it, so what he decided to do is stay in the human world for as long as possible and just wait here in this destroyed building. And he said, you're going to release Ares from her contract, or else I'm never going to serve you again. And Leo, they had mentioned, is actually the strongest of all the celestial spirits. So Karen decides to go out on her quest anyway, and ends up dying because she didn't have her most powerful spirit with her. And so Loki at this point has said he's made peace. Once celestial spirits stay in the human world for too long, their bodies just don't work anymore, and so he's going to fade away. And at this point, he says he's accepted his fate, and he wants to atone for his sins and basically die. And after hearing this story, Lucy's just all mad at him. It's like, no, there's still a way we can change this, man. I can't let you go. You're a good guy. Wait, I know I can save you. Don't give up yet. So, she's continuing to comfort him and yelling, his celestial spirit name, open gate of the Lion Palace. Take Loki back to the celestial world. And none of it's working, and slowly but surely he's slipping away more and more. And starts crying, and she's like, I won't let you go. And you see, she actually starts fading into the celestial world as well. And he's crying out, don't give me any more guilt. I can't let this happen. So as all this is going on, this giant waterfall comes into focus, and you see a face start to appear. And Loki says, it can't be. That's not possible. And the Celestial Spirit King shows up. Look at this dude. So this guy rules over all the spirits of the celestial realm. And Loki's like, how the hell is this guy here? And he says, old friend, thou hast broken covenant with mankind and murdered thy key holder. Thy act was indirect, however. Through that inaction, the same result did come to pass. Thou hast been denied return to the celestial world. And Lucy starts pleading with him, saying, he did it for friendship. He did it to save Ares, his friend in the spirit world. And how is it his fault? Karen shouldn't have gone on that quest and put her life on the line. So Lucy is just pleading with all she has, and using all the power she has, summons all of her celestial spirits. You got them all there. You got Taurus, you got Aquarius, Virgo, Cancer, Sagittarius, even Blue. And this really moves the Celestial Spirit King, as Lucy's pleading, even if she can do it for a second, because you see as she summons all those spirits, they disappear really quickly, and she falls to the ground, and she's clearly drained of her power. And the Celestial Spirit King agrees to pardon Loki, and now he's going to be forged as a new key to which Lucy will bear. So he fades away and turns into a key right there. And he says, this may not take away the guilt I feel, but it's given me the courage to go on. Thank you, and here's to our future. Next time, it will be me aiding you. That goes double for me. So, nice ending there. I really love this one. This one, again, followed Lucy. Once again, great cover here of Lucy and all the spirits. And what does she have now? She's got to have like 6 or 7 of the big spirits, and I think they said there's 12 of them, so she's already halfway on her journey. But yeah, really, tear-jerking moments of her and her father, like that scene. So far, I've really enjoyed the scenes where they've had the little flashbacks, because they did one with Gray, on the Galuna Island arc, and you see all the characters really young. It's so cute. And then this whole thing with Loki, and just how they've really fleshed out all these characters. Like I said last time with Elfman, and again, they have the afterword by Mashima here. Where is it? And first of all, the guy is a true workhorse. He still is to this day. He mentions that he's working on another project at the time he was doing this. This was back in, I want to say, 07 or 08, and he was working on something called Monster Soul. And even now, he's got Eden Zero, which comes out once a week, and then he doesn't draw it, but he does the story for Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. So the dude is amazing. And he also recently designed characters for a mobile JRPG game that released in Japan, so good stuff. And mentions, we had the Gray story, we had the Lucy story. The next arc is going to follow Urza's backstory, so I can't wait to check that out. And again, we have a little back and forth here, and then they mentioned Urza and her re-equipping, and how she re-equipped into the foreman outfit when she was helping rebuild Fairy Tail. So I love all that gag stuff. And they had the other one with the fan art. Where is it? Where is it? I don't know. It's usually in the back here. There it is. So I always like to take a look at the fan art here. Look at Elfman right there. So cool. So I highly recommend Fairy Tail. I love the series. I know it has its haters and detractors, but it's a fun shonen series, and I really can't complain. And I look forward to my review of Volume 10 very soon. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.